My name is Yeo Steme. I'm 70 years old and I've had a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease for 14 years now. When you've taken Parkinson medication for that long, you start to develop side effects. The most visible of them are involuntary movements. For example, my head often keeps bobbing up and down without my control. It is a bit inconvenient because it makes people believe that I agree with everything they say. I take part in the Dance for Parkinson project not only because it's good for my body, but because it brings me into contact with an artistic environment of which I've always been curious. If you see life as a house, we, the patients, live near the exits. We are being taken care of by stern people in white coats until it's time to be picked up by stern people in black coats. The theatre is entirely different. It is a wonderful place, and the emphasis here is on what we can do, not on what we will have to give up doing. The atmosphere is encouraging and optimistic. In my youth, the movies, the theatre, singing and dancing had a strange attraction. It seemed to us that we could find self-expression, perhaps even fame, in the performing arts. But we were made aware of the sacrifices we would have to make by a television show which told us. By
You got big dreams. You want fame. Well, fame costs. And right here is where you start paying in sweat.
I think of those words when I see young people from all over the world coming to participate in an artistic work that requires both self-discipline and perseverance. I'm amazed to see the things they can do with their bodies. In all of this, we, the Parkinson group, are spectators. We don't have to push our bodies to the limit, but we get a little taste of what it may be like when our instructors, who are also active dancers in the company, let us try a move or two from their current assignment. Seeing the dancers both in their role as teacher and performer is very illuminating. On stage, their total concentration transforms them. The people we regularly have coffee and chat with turn into somehow different persons. I told the ballerina who teaches us, after seeing her doing a great performance, I was in love with you in there for 50 minutes. After we had been taking classes for a year and a half, an extraordinary opportunity arose. Our two dancing teachers were given the chance to make a film of their own choice, and they chose to include us in the making of a dance movie. What? A dance movie? I was stunned. All the dance movies I could think of were impossible for us. Dance by Parkinson people who are famously slow and stiff is a contradiction in terms like music for the deaf. But our teachers insisted they would take care of it and set us up in a dance movie, a work of art. I grudgingly joined the volunteers. Not only a dance movie would be made, the filmmaker, who was both photographer, editor and director, had made many documentaries and wanted to make a documentary of us too. As it turned out, the finished product became a sort of fused mix of both documentary and dance movie. The dance scenes were shot in a deserted quarry where limestone had been once mined and exported in great quantities. The exposed white cliffs gave us an impression of a primeval, prehistoric environment. The art part of the film was the really hard part. Our teachers had an idea, a vision of what was to be, and they eventually brought it to life. They never said it in so many words, but I imagine their inspiration must have been a movement called minimalism. In the 20th century, some artists tried to reduce the material they work with into the smallest units that can carry a meaning. Let us think of some examples. What is a minimalist painting? A monochrome, entirely in blue, by Yves Klein. What is a minimalist stage play? One actor on stage with a tape recorder. What is minimalist music? What is minimalist music? Something by Philip Glass. And now to the really tricky question. What is Parkinson people dancing? When we started rehearsing, instructions didn't clarify the purpose, but we were told to move slowly and with a kind of gravity. It seems to me now that our teachers were trying to find the basic elements of movement. We were also induced to make more complex group movements. Although unaware of the grand design, we all felt happy when working with the film. On the last day of shooting, we were elated and went around congratulating each other. Miraculously, the 2 months we had worked on this had welded us together. I, who had been initially doubtful, had been converted and took part of everything with enthusiasm. And so it came to pass, after half a century, that my youthful dreams of an artistic expression finally came to a sort of completion, however brief and flawed, in a deserted quarry with many other ancient fossils looking down on me from the walls. For this I am truly grateful to my teachers, to Skånestansteater, and to my fellow Parkinsonians. This is what I see as the great benefit we get from taking part in Dance for Parkinson. We are immersed in an environment entirely devoted to art. And about this, Nietzsche said, art is what keeps us from dying of too much reality. Thank you.